Hello.
Hey, Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm excellent. We don't have Donardo, we don't have Jim, we don't have Tyler.
And we're all the better for it, right?
We got you and I again. You who weren't old
Donardo
enough
was
to see.
transferred to the 60-day injured list with a torn left calf, unfortunately.
There you go. I'm gonna say we've got you who wasn't old enough to see Barry Bonds as a Pirate, and me who was old enough to see Honus Wagner play. So.
Yep. And of course, we're all the better for it because the Pirates, of course, beat the Red Sox 7-6. Weird game.
It really was. It's hard to define it with any of the standard cliches. It was a back and forth affair. It was just odd the way everything occurred. Seemed a little out of the normal, out of sorts.
Yeah, I didn't take any notes.
I didn't either, and it wouldn't have made any sense to because.
Right.
We saw some really good things and some really bad. Last year I tweeted out, the expression a lot. That was very piratey. And I used that a lot. And this game was very piratey, and the Red Sox were, very piratey as well. I mean, the first inning alone, how many runs scored off, just misplayed pop-ups?
Devers dropped one. Reynolds dropped one. Kike shouldn't have. That was a play that he shouldn't have made, but it's still like a fielder got near it.
Right.
So
right.
It adds to the oddity.
You want him to make it, right? It's you don't get that upset if he doesn't, but like, man, what a different. It's a difference.
It would have been an outstanding catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a weird game. Oviedo could not find the zone.
Man, last time we did this, that's who we were talking about, Oviedo.
Right. Weirdly.
Last time he had no walks, but he had the 6 hits. This time he went, I think it was
no
hits.
Command with the fastball. Like
no.
He bounced like 4 pitches. He had 2 wild pitches, I think, both of which were in the same inning. He buzzed a couple guys.
Right. And you just wonder, is it nerves? Is it pitching at Fenway Park? Is it, different things? I mean, it's first start of the season. Again, we're 4 games in. It's a little too early for any proclamations or declarations, but God, he did not look good, and especially you get the 3-run lead and you think, all right. Now he's just going to come out and be average. And it's 5-3 before, I've taken my shoes off from getting home. So, to their credit, and I saw a couple of different people tweet this out. To their credit, this looked like one of those 18-3 losses. It was just going to keep, and he buckled down. You got to give him a little credit. He buckled down. He pitched, did. What was 4 2/3, I think.
Yeah, it was because he walked because the control really, really started to fall apart in that last inning.
Right. He just, again, and that's the St. Louis Cardinals don't trade him if he didn't have those issues. And, I guess they've maybe decided he's not going to overcome them. I mean, they're a good organization. I hate them, but they're really good at what they do. And they don't give away guys throwing 97 unless there's, the control issue or something else. And he seems like a great kid. The only thing I can think is that they're like, he's just not ever going to be a consistent pitcher. You're going to have great outings. He's going to go 7 innings, 1 hit, and then follow it up with, 7 walks and 7 hits.
But what was weird was that the control with the breaking ball tonight was better than the control with the fastball. The fastball was the pitch he was bouncing and buzzing people with.
Right. He had no idea where it was going. None. It's cold. There's all sorts of excuses. He's obviously
it was just a weird game, man. I mean, the umpire, the home plate umpire was kind of buns. Wind was blowing out to dead center at like 20 miles an hour. It was just weird.
Right.
Dwayne Underwood Jr. had a 1-2-3. Well, we'll get to that, but is this who came in relief of Oviedo?
Was it
Strisny?
Strisny? I think was first.
No, it was Moretta.
Oh yeah, Moretta got one out. And then
he was also wild for a second straight outing.
Oh, I know. He starts out. Is he gonna be one of those?
If he's gonna give me that much of a heart attack every time he pitches,
right.
Oh my god!
Right, because there were already two on, or were bases loaded. I can't. Either way, it was.
There were already two on, I think, and then
there was two on, and he walked somebody. Right, I think that's what happened. Then he got the out. But you can't.
And then Zastryzny came in, and then it was Underwood who relieves Zastryzny with 2 outs, I believe it was.
And he got that out, and then or again he put somebody on immediately, right? Gave up a double, I think.
Right. And then he came back out for the second inning. I was saying, oh God.
I know. Like we've seen this movie before, right?
Dwayne Underwood Jr. multi-inning relief appearances do not end well usually.
Have not.
And he had a 1-2-3. I think it was 7th, and it was just like Dwayne Underwood Jr.
Holderman was the 8th.
Dwayne Underwood Jr. 1-2-3 second inning of relief could be the subject of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, a 30 for 30, I think. Right? It's like he doesn't. I mean, last year. Nothing. That was the thing that got me more last year than anything else was watching him come out for a second inning, because he would throw 20 pitches in that first inning, put 2 guys on, and get out of it, and then like, oh, let's bring him out for more of that, right? Yeah. And it almost never failed. He'd come out in the 6th and have a scary inning, but get through it, and then in the 7th it was just double home run.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm happy. It was 4.
Holderman came in, and then he loaded the bases.
Right.
There were lots. Yeah. Red Sox left a lot of runners on tonight.
Yeah, they did. It's I mean, as always, they've got some hitters, and playing in that park, it is a hitter's park.
The bandbox.
Yeah. It's not just that it's small. There's no foul territory.
Yeah, there's no foul territory.
you pop something up, it goes into the stands. I mean, there's just every advantage for the hitter. 302 down the right field line, the pesky pole, the monster. Have you ever been to Fenway? I lived in Boston for I lived in Boston for 9 years. I went to quite a few games. The first time you walk in there, I mean, you hear about the Green Monster your whole life, and then the first time you walk in there, it's like, oh my God, it's right behind shortstop. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, it's like 310 down the line or something.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's I mean, you wonder how those pitchers. Yeah, how did Pedro Martinez do what he did there? Clemens, right?
Yeah, no,
man. And then you're like, oh, now I get it. Ted Williams, the last guy to hit 400. Well, he would just foul stuff off till he got his pitch and then crush it off the monster.
All right, so let's get to the hitting side of things.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I didn't get to Bednar. Bednar closed it out as expected. Okay, now we can get to the position players.
Oh yeah, he was fine. Right.
He was exactly what
not too much drama. Right. Yeah, now he's pitched twice this right. So
positionally, man, I'm starting to get worried about Castro. I know we're just like 3 games in, but it's just like.
But it's not just that.
I worry about how he can get out of this funk while also not getting regular at bats.
Right. I listened to Starbucks this morning with Tyler and Jim, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to overreact to 3 games." True, but we're not overreacting to 3 games. We're overreacting to 3 games, spring training, and last season. Right. I mean, this isn't Brian Reynolds slumping. Right. This is a guy that's had a problem with consistency, a guy that's had problem with strikeouts, and now. I mean, you see the way they're playing Sawinski, the way they're playing him and Bay. That it seems like you're going to be in a platoon real quick unless you start producing. And I wonder how short the leash is going to be if you don't produce in these limited opportunities. There are other guys available. I mean, I know it's down at AAA, but Matthias is hitting well down there. You know what I'm saying? And he can come up and be a utility guy. I mean, it's good. It's good. I mean, this is my favorite thing that Cherington has done. He's created depth. He really has. Now, I don't know how good the depth is, but hopefully we're not scanning the waiver wire for our boy Yu Chang. She made an appearance today. Van Meter, I don't think is going to make any appearances. No Yoshi. So, but yeah, Castro, you're right. It's a little disappointing. You wanted him to grab that job in spring. You wanted him to force Bay into being sort of a utility player or the center fielder, right?
Right.
But it seemed like right off the rip, the Pirates had no real interest. Now he's played center field, but it seemed like they wanted Sawinski in center. And I'm surprised how little he's played. I mean, he played first game, didn't start.
Yeah,
either.
Smith and Jigba. I mean, that's another thing. Smith and Jigba had another really good game.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. It kind of like. It kind of was a quiet good game.
Right.
I think he walked and he doubled.
But that's the thing with him, right? He doesn't look like a rookie. You just expect every time he comes up, you expect a good at bat. And
he's having competitive at bats.
Right.
Which better on this team, especially in the back half of this lineup, is maybe it's not impressive, but it is important.
Right.
And that's going to get you a job.
Yeah, that's going to keep you right. That's going to keep you in the lineup, especially if the other guys continue to not perform. I mean, it just makes he gets good at bats. He's making hard contact. I'd say at least average in the outfield, and maybe a little above average. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely athletic.
I would say he's about an average defender,
right?
Because the arm is a little weak, but
yeah. Well, we got a lot of that going around with our fourth outfielder, Cal Mitchell. It's stronger than Cal Mitchell's.
Cal Mitchell. That's another conversation for another day. Cal Mitchell's defense.
But no, I mean, I like what I see from Sawinski. I'm sorry, from Canaan Smith and Jigba. He looks. He like I said, he doesn't look like a rookie, and if he continues on,
he looks like a major leaguer.
Yeah. He doesn't look overwhelmed by the moment. He goes up there competing each at bat, and again, if we can get that from him, this lineup extends now to maybe 5-6 guys, and I was telling Jim prior to us getting on here that what this lineup really lacks is an Endy Rodriguez type player. If he was batting third, right. If he was batting third, right, how much lineup would because now you can move Kutch down to sixth. Hayes down to seventh, and suddenly it's only 8 and 9. And if either Sawinski or Bay or Castro or any of those guys can figure something out, we got the makings of a little something. We'll be able to get through starting pitchers faster into bullpens, and we'll have better at bats, and hopefully more runs. I mean, the Cincinnati pitchers, all three of those pitchers were really good. Cutter Crawford. Not so much.
Which is his government name, by the way. That's not a nickname.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard Bob Walk. He was on the radio. I was coming home, and he's not related to Roger Clemens. With all his K-name kids, Cutter and Cody and Kippy and Cappy and all their other. No, yeah. I mean, we talk about he's not the best pitcher ever, but we've had terrible pitchers hold us to shut us out. So right. So at this point, if we can beat anybody, any pitcher, any team, again, we walk in there, we're going to take 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati. I remember when we said that last year in May, and we didn't. They were 2-23 when I went to that series, and we looked like the 2-23 team. We don't compete that well against him for whatever reason, and those 3 pitchers.
We don't compete well against like the Reds or the Brewers.
I know.
I don't know what it is. Especially at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is.
I remember Clint Hurdle saying it in 2013. I think it was 2013. He says, if we could just go 500 against Milwaukee and San Diego, he said we'll win the division, because we could back in those days. I mean, Milwaukee's still been a problem. It didn't matter. Didn't matter how good they were, how bad they were. We go to Milwaukee and we're lucky if we get one.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's they're not. I mean, they don't have a great hitting. They definitely have good starting pitching, and they got good bullpen, but they don't have a great lineup. We should be able to hold them to. But we Pirate our way through it. Next thing you know, they're 7-2.
Lots of bad things have happened in that ballpark.
Yeah. But again, we Reynolds. I'm excited about Reynolds. I'm hoping we're getting 2021 Reynolds instead of and I mean, I'm happy with 2022 Reynolds, but he was hitting 200, I think, on June 1st or whatever. So if he could just, I mean, he doesn't have to continue this start, but once he got 3 home runs,
I'd be happy with it.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe they should throw him a few more bucks.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
We do everything wrong, right? We don't. We have got to be the only team in history that can agree to money and years with a player and still can't get the deal done. Right? I've never heard that before. Oh, it's their sticking point of this. No, it's always money. It's all, and this probably really is money too. Pay me,
right?
I mean, because God, we're getting him so cheap, right?
Right. Reynolds feels that he's come down enough, and he has.
And he has, right. I mean, I think we all agree he's at least a 15 million a year player, and we're trying to get him for 13, and I don't understand. He's just a no-brainer. Sign him.
Cruz with a double tonight.
Yeah,
he's off to a good start.
Good start. He's having good at bats. I mean, I think we've all said that. It's nothing new, but I mean, he's
still getting a little over eager, I think would be the right word for it. I think when he's locked in, he's taking pitches. It's just like when he's dead set on, he still gets into like these situations where he's like, all right, I'm swinging at this. It's going to be a fastball. It's going to be a fastball.
And I'm crushing it. Right.
And then they throw him a curve and he comes out of his shoes.
And it's a bad chase. Right. Yeah. He's definitely.
And I mean, maybe we'll always see that. I mean, but it's important that we are seeing some of the inklings of patience,
right,
and situational hitting out of him.
Yeah, sooner than I expected.
I mean, we saw later in which we saw later in the season last year. I think it was September that he had like, I think, what was the slash line that month? Like 280, 350. 480.
Yeah, right. From I think it was like the third week of August on, he was really good. And we've all been fooled by that. God, Pirates fans have been fooled by that kind of stuff for 30 years. Guys coming up and have a fantastic September and then nothing after that. So it's hard to, we can't have nice things. So it's hard for us to say, oh, look, this guy, he's gonna take that next step next year. And we're still waiting for a lot of those guys still to take that next step. But you have to feel a little bit, I mean, I feel a lot better about the lineup, obviously, than we had last year. I mean, last year, 4 through 9, a lot of times was just god awful. And
Yoshi Tsutsugo hit 4th.
Yeah, right. And I think Van Meter hit 5th.
The majority, right. I think the majority of games that he played, Yoshi Tsutsugo hit 4th.
Right. And for way too long. I mean, I was for that signing, and I was hopeful.
I was for it too. I mean, you have nothing to lose.
Once you realize, I mean, yeah, that's what just killed me about last year. Last year, we are trying to lose games. So I think that's hard to break out of that sort of mindset too. So, for 3 years now, but I don't know, the vets seem like, I mean, McCutchen, my goodness, he's another guy who's never doesn't hit 200 until June. He's another guy that has a great June. I don't care if he gets another hit. Just keep walking 2 and 3 times every game.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that he has always, and it has stayed with him, through his not decline, but what's the right word for this? I mean, he's not the MVP or even all-star caliber player that he used to be.
Right.
But he still walks.
And
he still has the plate discipline.
But yeah, he's still got a great eye. He still has a great eye. He's not chasing. And hopefully, right. I mean, last year we sort of yeah, desperately, right. Yeah, I was thrilled when we signed Vogelsong last year just because he took a bunch of pitches, and I'm like, hopefully, some of these young guys can see that it works. Because we have, I mean, Cruz, Castro, Sawinski, a bunch of guys swinging out of their shoes, quite a bit. We had it just. What was it, the worst on base percentage in the history of the franchise last year, something like that? Or
I don't even want to think about last year anymore.
Right. Yeah, we should move on. Let's talk about tonight's game. Right. 2 home runs from a home run from Delay.
Reynolds, the home run from Delay was crushed. Right. I think it was at 105, like 405 feet.
Yeah. I mean, that was a home run everywhere. That wasn't a Fenway, right? It wasn't a Fenway home run. It wasn't a Lee Com Park home run. That was a Kevin Newman first at bat against the Pirates home run. The most predictable thing in the history of the Pittsburgh Pirates is that Kevin Newman was going to crush one against us as soon as he saw us. Right, guy that couldn't hit it out of the infield.
But he moves to Great American, and suddenly he's a slugger.
Yeah, watch him hit 20.
Who is it? Okay, I said I wasn't gonna bring up past seasons anymore. I'll bring it up post game. All right. Well, I didn't take any notes, so I think anything that I have to say is about done.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I mean, you summed it up right at the beginning. It was a weird game, kind of hard to explain because it was just, it's kind of a series.
The Pirates left a lot of
random.
The Red Sox left a lot of men on base, and there was just like a bunch of times where it was just like, okay, this is where we blow the lead. Okay, this is where we blow the lead.
Right.
Okay, this is real
the time. Right.
This is where we
now there's 2 guys on and Underwood's coming in, right?
Right? Yeah. And
I mean, it said we've seen this before. This is not new territory for us. So, the bullpen looks good, and at the same time, it looks awful while it's getting good results. I guess maybe that's the best way to, because the bullpen doesn't really look good yet. I mean, it's. My blood pressure is soaring with every pitch, but the results are good. However, and I know it's early, but once again, have we had a pitcher pitch it, 5+? I think Hill went 5 innings. Everybody else has gone 4 2/3, or, so it'd be nice to see somebody throw 6 innings. It'd be nice to have the lineup get enough, that we don't have to have a nail biter from the 7th, 8th, 9th, on, and let Bednar, sit back there and relax, that sort of thing. Because, last year the bullpen started out good, and the starting pitcher going 3 innings for the first 18 starts, and they were fried. I mean, the writing was, you knew that was terrible. I mean, golly, Crow was dead pretty quickly on it. Crow was never the same after Van Meter caught him that game against the Nationals. He had
he was scarred.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was just.
Wasn't that against the Reds?
Was it against the Reds? I thought it was against the Nationals for some reason, but
it was. I think it was against the Reds.
You're probably right. I don't, but yeah, it didn't. Yeah, he. I remember thinking, well, there's, Roberto Perez does make a difference, right? Man, and Bednar was never the same after the 50 pitch save, or the 7-out save against the Dodgers, and those were June. I mean, that was May for the Crow thing in June, and so far I like how Shelton's used the bullpen. Like I said, and I'm pretty happy with the results, other than Chase DeYoung, which I think just about everybody has been predicting that he outperformed.
Yeah, I mean, it was
his metrics, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had kind of it was kind of like, it kind of showed in the second half of last year also,
right?
That he wasn't I mean, it
Right.
started to regress a little bit back to like the mean.
But yeah, so I would be nice.
You
It
know,
would
you
be
know what the
nice to see some.
conversation that I want to have is Jason DeLay better than Austin Hedges?
Whew. I mean, I would only say so based on what other people have said, right? The Austin Hedges propaganda machine. From what I've seen, and he does seem to work well with the pitchers, but that's not an unusual thing for a catcher. I know we
Right.
keep
You don't get
making
to
it
the
out
major
like it's
leagues.
this rare thing, but Jacob Stallings worked well with the pitchers, and Roberto Perez worked well with the pitchers, and Heineman and DeLay worked well with the pitchers last year. So,
And
yeah,
Jason
I mean,
DeLay has
Hedges,
good. I mean, they were saying it on the broadcast tonight that Jason DeLay has good framing metrics. I mean, you don't get to the majors as a catcher unless you're like Gary Sanchez or something, and like you're
right, right.
really more of like a DH.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Then
more of a
they
future
immediately
DH, and
talk
like,
about how
okay, we're
quick
gonna
you're
we're gonna
not
try
going to
you
be
out.
catching. Right, right.
Right, right. Unless you're solid defensively.
Yeah. Yeah, that's,
So
I
that
mean,
being like the best defender in the league at catcher is not as valuable as being the it's not as valuable as being the worst hitter in the majors hurts your team.
right.
And that Hedges could also, do that stuff. He could catch bullpens, give pitchers advice, do this and that
Right, right.
from a backup spot.
That was always my Endy argument. Like, all right, if he's great at this, get him up here and let Endy work with him. Let
Right.
Endy let him be a coach, let him be a mentor. I understand. I understand. Endy has things to work on as a catcher, but it seems to me, since we're not really going to contend for the World Series this year, why can't he learn up here? Right? To me, it's an easy problem. Let him come up here. Okay, he makes some mistakes. That's fine. That's fine. Hedges is there. You can sit him
I
down
mean,
for
I,
two
I can't
days.
I can't agree with this more. That most will disagree with this. Catcher, in some opinions, is the most important position on the field. It is, but Hedges is the worst hitter in the majors. Like
Right.
if it were anybody else, and like he
And
had
dramatically bad. He's not hitting 200 and being the worst hitter. He's hitting 163. I mean, he's a hit a week. I mean, it's and I know he does. Like I said,
right,
he'll bunt a guy over. I know he led the league in sacrifice hits last year. Well, of course, because his manager knew he couldn't hit. The only thing he could do is hopefully get a guy over. And it's great that he's willing to do that, and he's great that he's good at it. But again, he is the worst offensive player in the league.
right, and
Not just catcher. Yeah.
there's only there's only so much you can put up with, and I say this like I didn't see this team play Yoshi Tsutsugo for half a year and Van Meter for
Right.
3/4 of it,
For even
right?
longer. Right.
But with the messaging change that okay, we're gonna try now. I mean, there's only so long that Hedges can. I mean, maybe it's because they paid him and they don't want to. I don't know. Just whatever silly reason
That always,
they come
yeah.
up with. If he
Right.
continues to hit, yes, thank you, Jim. I'm
That's true.
I'm
That
very
is,
happy. This purchase made me very happy.
yeah, that is, it is a great hat. Right. Yeah. I'm not that enthused about, I mean, I love having Hedges on the team as a backup catcher.
Right.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And we know Endy's coming up, but I think we also know that, Endy's not going to resolve his issues until, June 21st or so. And I guess
And
that if it was possible that he was going to come up May 1st, because it wasn't just about, and what just kills me is just extend him. And then you don't have to worry about that stupid stuff. So you don't have to manipulate his service time. Extend him.
I mean, this is a good point that like Hedges was a starting player on a playoff team last year.
Yep. And
But
the pitchers loved him.
That has more to do with, the status of the catching position in baseball currently
Right.
than it does
I agree.
with
The Phillies pitchers love pitching to Real Muto. So you can love pitching to a guy that can also hit, and I mean, yeah, he definitely helped, but he could also help as a bench player, right? I'm sure those Cleveland pitchers love him. I'm sure he's great.
Well, Jim, the mistake that I made was that I brought up, is Jason DeLay better than Austin Hedges? Will Jason DeLay result in more wins than Austin Hedges? And I didn't account for that would inevitably lead into Endy Rodriguez talk. So that was my mistake.
I told Jim pre-show that, and it's the same thing I told you. This lineup would look a lot better if Endy was batting third. You go Cruz, Reynolds, Endy, and again Santana Choi, some sort of combination, maybe even Kutch. This lineup starts looking a lot better. Hopefully, Brian Hayes will get rolling, and CSN will continue. And
that's been the one thing so far that like I'm most concerned with. Like, again, 4 games in,
yeah,
but Hayes really hasn't. Hayes has been like, he's looked like 2021 Hayes so far,
right?
And again, small sample size.
It's 4
but
games.
He's been rolling over the ball a lot.
Yeah, and again, it's like, it's not just a 4-game concern. It's a 3 seasons concern, or 2 seasons at least, right? That you've like, I mean, we've been waiting for him. He's been our predicted breakout player. Both in 21 and 21, we thought we've got Nolan Arenado, right? I mean, the way he looked in 2020, 21 he struggled. 22 he struggled, and it's like, okay, now he looks better, and it's early, but it's hard to just shake and he's always been a good spring training hitter. So you're like, well, we'll see. Hopefully, again, if he could, and let's say something we've all said a million times, if he could just be a league average hitter, I would like him to be a little better than that. And obviously all of us would, but I mean, again, just to have the past couple of seasons, we've had so many easy outs in our lineup. If we could just get guys that battle a little better, like Sawinski, his first walk tonight, he went 3-2. He fouled off a few. I mean, that was a good at bat. Resulted in a walk, which is something he doesn't do that often. That was great. Hit the ball hard next time up. If we can get that kind of things. Oh, I saw the Nick Gonzalez. I know Nick Gonzalez. He made a couple. I listened and watched to the first game. He made on Friday. He made a couple great plays at second base. He's made some good plays at third base, and he's stinging the ball. And given how our second bases looked, we might have to. But I don't think if we make a move at second base, it'll be Matthias before it'll be Gonzalez. So,
I was almost gonna say that we were getting too distracted with like future conversations, like, and not, but I mean, it's kind of impossible to do that when the team at the end of the year is going to look so much different than the team at the start of the year.
Well, we know, like I said, and I've been saying all off season that I don't think, like, I'm not expecting to see Henry Davis or Quinn Priester. I'm not expecting to see Burrows till the trade deadline. I'm not expecting most of these guys to rush right up here, but if the opportunity is there, and for Endy, clearly it's there. You can combine Hedges, DeLay, and Heineman together, and they don't come close to what Endy will be offensively. So we know Endy's coming. It's just a matter of time. And Gonzalez, who I would not have expected to be in the conversation, is getting help. And again, 4 games but if those guys do not perform at second base, if it goes on for another month or so, I think Matthias would come. Even if we're not as high on Gonzalez as we once were, we're still going to manipulate his service time. He's still not coming up till end of June,
unless it's like a Roansy Contreras situation where it's like there's Bay, Castro, Matthias, Joe. They all get hurt,
they all get hurt.
There's literally nobody else.
Right, and we bring him up, and he does great, and then we send him down because he has some things to work on.
Yeah.
Pirate stock we have to save some money. So, but it's a win. I call, I mean, there's some really good hitters in that lineup. We gave them some pretty easy runs to start, but the bullpen bullpen did well. It was a shutdown.
Not without
bullpen.
some excitement, but yeah.
Yeah. Now you were hanging on by your fingernails, but again, the results, the end result was good. I think the bullpen only gave up 1 run, right? Because it was 5. Yeah. Oviedo
Right.
gave up 5 in a blink of an eye, and then who gave up the? Yeah, see, I agree that Matthias will be first, and especially if a move is done early. If they make a move at second base early, it will be Matthias, no doubt, or their favorite Marcano, but
or Drew Maggi.
Drew Maggi. I would like to see him.
Does he play second?
I think he can, but I don't think we used him there much because we have a lot of second base.
Zastrinski gave up the other run. That's
okay,
right.
All right. But
or
yeah,
not Zastrinski.
Yeah, my concern, and when you're bringing up Drew Maggi, is that if the say after the trade deadline, the Pirates are closer to the draft lottery than they are to 500, I can see it being Chatwood and Maggi instead of Burrows and Gonzalez.
Oh no! Why is Chatwood? Is Chatwood still in the org?
I think he is. I think he's down there in Indy.
Oh my god!
I could be wrong. Yeah, I know. Right. Sorry about that. You won't sleep well tonight now.
No, I won't. We're like 2 injuries away from seeing Tyler Chatwood.
Right. Yeah. I guess rough. Who would be next? Next would be Ortiz. And because I mean, there's no. I mean, I don't think they want to bring Ortiz, Burrows, or Priester up. I mean, certainly not this early. If there's an injury
seems
early,
like a perfect candidate for like the Rowanzi midseason send down. So I
feel
like
that's true too.
He could be first. Maybe Burrows in a potential injury situation. Anyway, we're
getting off the rails here. This is a post-game show, not a season preview. So right. that's pretty much I have. Back tomorrow.
Pirates beat the Red Sox 7-6. First pitch tomorrow at 7:10.
And we are 4 games in. We're a 500 team. So
yeah. Who's pitching tomorrow? I think Rowanzi has
tomorrow. Right, it's Rowanzi and then Hill. No. I'm sorry, Rowanzi and then Keller, and Hill's got the home opener.
Hill's got the opening. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we're gonna hop off here. Thank you for tuning in,
folks. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.